Hello, today I'm going to be talking to you about how to force temporal upsampling on games made using Unreal Engine 4. If you're not aware of what temporal upsampling is, it's a technique that allows you to render at a lower resolution while giving similar-ish quality to the native resolution, though it depends on both the input and output resolution. So to do this, first you're going to need to go to pcgamingwiki.com. And of course, lowering it for lower resolution will give you much better performance. Okay, then you're going to need to search in the game that you're going to need to force it with, which in my case is Tell Me Why. Then go to the right hand of the screen and look at engines. If it was made with Unreal Engine 4, this guide could work, but it's not a guarantee. If it was made with Unreal Engine 3 or earlier, it will not work, and if it was made with any other engine than Unreal Engine, it will definitely not work. If it was made with Unreal Engine 5 or later, it may work, but I cannot tell you if it will. Check the description to see whether it works or not. Okay, then look at release dates. It was made after March of 2018. There's a good chance it'll work, but it's not a guarantee. The later it was made, the more likely it is for it to work. If it was made around March of 2018 or earlier, chances are it won't work because the Unreal Engine version that came out with temporal upsampling came in March of 2018. And since developers don't typically update their Unreal Engine version, it likely will not support it. But you can still try if you really want to. Just don't expect it to work. Okay? Okay, so if both of those conditions are met, or you're just willing to try, if the second one is not met, then go to configuration files and look at the store you bought it from. In my case, it was Microsoft Store. If you're on Steam, then of course go to Steam Play if a game is a Windows game that you're using with Steam Play / Proton. Okay? And then copy the location and paste it into your file explorer. If you're on a Steam game and it says user ID, then what you're going to do is you're going to go to paste the link, copy and paste the link, paste it into your URL bar, and then go to your Steam profile. This is not my Steam profile. I just don't want to reveal it. And then go to steamdb.info and paste the link inside. I've already pasted it, so it's fine. Okay? And then scroll down and then click on account ID and copy it. Or copy the account ID. Don't actually copy the account ID tag. So in this case, it's 2202 and replace 2202 with user ID and the little arrow things, and then you can paste this into your file explorer. But I'm not going to do that because I'm not Gabe Newell and I don't have I do have Tell Me Why on Steam, but I haven't installed it. Okay, so anyway, so once you're at the link, then what you're going to do is click on Engine.RendererSettings into your preferred text editor, which in my case is Visual Studio Code. If you don't see Engine.RendererSettings, try clicking on all the folders inside of the configuration file location. But if you don't see it, then unfortunately I cannot help you. Okay? So then, what you're going to do is you're going to do Control F and search for temporal. Clearly there is no temporal here, but if you do see it, then you don't actually need to follow this guide. Just edit r.TemporalAA.Upsampling and change it from 0 to 1. If it's already at 1, then just keep it at 1 and change the screen percentage to whatever you'd like, and it should work. Otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to copy the r.TemporalAA.Upsampling thing, the screen percentage, and the text above it. It's what I have highlighted right now. It'll be in the description for you. And I will paste it down at the end of a file. I would recommend creating an additional empty line at the end of a file and then pasting it. That way, just to be safe. Okay, then save the file. Okay? So what this will do is it'll render the image of the game at not actually 10%, but 1% of 4K, which is the resolution I'm using right now. Since the way it works is it takes the square of the screen percentage. Okay, so for example, 50% of 4K would be 1080p, since 2160 times 0.5 is 1080. Since resolutions are on 2 axes, just multiply the resolution by the pixels by 0.5, and you'll get the resolution that it'll be, okay? But keep in mind that 50% is actually 25%, okay? Sorry if that was a little confusing. Okay, anyway, open the game that you're trying to play. In my case, it's Tell Me Why. And yeah. Let's wait for it to load. And as you can see, it shouldn't show any noticeable effect right now, but when you go into the game, check to see if the image looks terrible. And as you can see, it actually looks very good now. The higher value you pick, the better the game will look. However, the 80% of 4K will work much better and look more similar to native 4K than 80% of 1080p will. So the higher resolution is, the more likely it is for it to look good. Okay? So I would recommend putting it at around 75% at 4K, 80% at 1440p, maybe 83, 85, and then 90% at 1080p. Okay? But you can do whatever you want. And if you aren't experiencing 60 FPS with your default resolution, then you can do whatever works for you. Okay? But if you got a black screen, then what you should do is delete Engine.RendererSettings, relaunch your game, and everything should be fine. It's just the temporal thing won't work, and I cannot tell you what to do. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to now I'm going to do the next step if you did not see the terrible image listed when we first did this tutorial. And this is the timestamp that I told you to skip to, okay? So exit your game, okay? Okay, so if it did not work for you the first time, to be clear, I am not talking about if it gave you a black screen. If it gave you a black screen, don't follow this. But if the temporal upsampling just simply didn't work, then go back to your file, reopen the file, unless if you're using Visual Studio Code. If you're using Visual Studio Code, it should be fine. But if you're using Notepad, then reopen the file, okay? And if you see that your temporal element has disappeared, like it seems like mine has, then what you're going to need to follow is another step, okay? If it has not disappeared, then this guide will not work for you, since your game likely wasn't made using the proper Unreal Engine version, okay? But if it's disappeared, then what you're going to do is you're going to repaste it again, okay? So I'm going to paste it and create the extra line and then save the file. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go back to your File Explorer, click Properties, then click on Read Only. So this will make it so your game cannot make the temporal upsampling disappear, okay? Then go to your game, in my case, Tell Me Why. And, okay, as you can see, it's not working and my game looks terrible. That's how you know it works. If it does not look terrible, then it didn't work, assuming you kept the screen percentage the same, okay? If it shows a black screen, or if it shows a black screen on the title screen or anything like that, delete the Engine.RendererSettings file and don't follow the rest of this guide because I cannot help you, okay? But if it worked, like it did, then what you're going to do is you're going to exit your game, then open the file again, or actually it doesn't really matter if you open the file again, I don't know why I said that. Click Properties, and then make the file not read-only again, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to edit the screen percentage, right, to a value that you actually care about. I said this in the first part of the video, but since you probably skipped it, I would recommend doing 75 to 80% at 4K, 80 to 85% at 1440p, and 85 to 90, but ideally 90 at 1080p, since the effects of the screen percentage are more visible at lower resolutions. Okay, so then save a file and click Properties, and then make it read-only again. Then open Tell Me Why or whatever game you're using again, and then click on Continue, and it should not look terrible anymore, and it actually worked. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have any questions down in the description. Okay, bye.